to bring us all the action.
Thanks, James. Thank you very much indeed. This is going to be a very fun one indeed. We've got 3Era versus Plus10Elo. We already talked a little bit about the Plus10Elo side. We were talking about, you know, how well they'll be able to do just based on the fact they have the players and the names in the, you know, just in that side, and the firepower just generally works very well towards their side. But taking a look over at the 3Era side, what do you make of this roster? Because I think you're a bit more familiar with them.
Yeah, when I saw them play, it was they had a kind of a big upset in the Reading qualifier where they took out it was Fish123, which had Surreal on the roster, and going into that game, we're like, oh yeah, Fish123 is probably going to take this, and it was either them or Buzzkill that played them, and then just completely wiped the floor with Fish. And then I think it was Buzzkill versus 3Era. It's an incredibly close game. Train was one of those maps, and it was incredibly like the most quiet game possible. The first half, like 3Era were out. There's no way they came back, and then somehow they pulled it back. I think I went to overtime. They won by 16-14, something insane like that. It's one of those times where no one apparently was communicating, and then suddenly one person had a good round, and they were like, "Hey guys, we can win this. Like maybe if we talked, we might actually play better." So well, hopefully,
it's a team game.
Yeah, it's a team game.
But you talked about Train. What was the specific scoreline? Do you remember specifically what it was?
I don't remember specific, but it was close. That's all I remember. It was very close. So I'm kind of interested to see this map being picked up again, especially by 3. I don't know who the exact vote was, but it wasn't a. It was 3Era, so 3Era picked it. Right, interesting, because they had as I said, very quiet first half. We'll see if they've shored that up a bit, maybe worked on it a bit, feel a bit more comfortable. But that remains to be seen. I have to highlight Mr. Hoy, though, during that quiet period, was legitimately the only player who was sort of performing and hitting shots. The others took a long time to get back into that game. We'll see if that's the same for this match as well.
Yeah, well, let's see whether they'll be able to put that teamwork into effect. I believe our pistol round is about ready to go live, even though it's not currently on the screen. So I think we're going to be doing a bit of a radio cast at this point in time, Novi. We got the CT side in with most Kevlar. More than anything else for the defensive side of things in the first round. We've got 2 smokes and 2 flashbangs between C3 Star and KPiz. KPiz also got a P250 out, a little bit more firepower for the T side. Interested they don't go for the double P250 setup here, because usually that does give a little bit extra firepower that should be able to get a decent position with the crossfires that C3 Star and KPiz can set up. It's passive across the board for both the CT and the T sides. Are playing a default out towards Ivy and Brown Halls, and not going for any early faces.
No, everything's going pretty slowly. This first minute has just been trying to gather information, hear for sound cues, try and get an idea where the CTs are standing. Looks like there's going to be a rotation through the back of the T side of the map to position up. It looks like, is that going for an A push? Yeah, smokes are going out. Danny's holding a position near Ivy, but Mulk will be the first to engage. But Whisk takes down Emmy really quickly, and that'll be opening things up for the T side. Danny replies very quickly. Danny with 2 headshots in a row, getting taken down by Dansky. Eventually going down, 3 versus 3, very low health bars for the CTs, but Whisk coming out clutch here, getting 2 kills so far. Dansky picks up the last, and that'll be the 10Elo boys picking up the first round.
Yeah, nice start of the execution coming out right then. A lot of smokes, a lot of aggression that kind of suppressed the entire CT side back into the back line and didn't make any major moves at the moment. So it was just a case of pressure, really, to get into that bomb site. And eventually, when the rotations did come through, it was a little bit too late. There was a lot of problems over on the CT defensive. They were all completely suppressed back. So a nice execution coming on the pistols. The firepower for C3 Star and sorry, for KPiz, excuse me, worked up really, really well. And of course, the smokes down do as much vision damage as possible. Great start. Small technical problem here for the T side. Apparently, Whisk is deaf. So
IRL
no,
okay.
Not
just
the problem as, like, you know, a medical problem.
I was going to say that'd be very serious if a player just suddenly went deaf.
Obviously. But so no, it'll be a small technical problem to get that sound situation sorted. We're having a couple of technical problems for our sound as well, as far as I understand. So yeah.
It looks like the same ready, so they must have fixed the problem. 2 AKs coming out for the T side, as well as 2 MAC-10s and UMP. So we've seen the economic change with the pistol round. So how do you think that's affected teams? What's the adaptation you would expect to see now with the changes?
It's actually a bit different depending on regions, to be honest. Like, some regions go and force buy anyway, because that's just how they roll. Like, I was covering a lot of the OCE tournaments. I was covering a lot of IEM Katowice qualifiers, and a lot of the OCE teams and the Asian teams ended up force buying round after round in the second round, when really the point is that you take the pistol and you save so that way you can get the rifles out around early. That's the point of the whole economy change. Like, you get that extra loss bonus. Most teams in Europe and North America tend to sort of like stick to that kind of meta, whereas other teams are very hesitant to break the cycle.
Yeah.
So coming into this one, we're seeing the CT side actually going to go ahead and go for the pistol round. The CZs, the PT50s, the Deagles, all coming out for them. And the SMGs and rifles are standard in for the 10Elo squad. So they should be able to make easy work of this round as they get themselves 2 quick frags. Dansky and C3 Star quickly downing 2. Mr. Hui also going for it. And Danny does get 1 trade, but that's as far as it will be able to go. And that's just standard round. Now they're going to get the rifles out. Now is where the CT start the fight.
Yeah, it'll be a bit more interesting. Danny, the only one fragging so far. It was a bit hard to frag last round. Walking into the line of, Dansky on that AK, Whisk as well as the 2 MAC-10s. MAC-10s not being upgraded though. Keeping those instead of upgrading to the AKs, which they could have done. Scout coming out for Mog. Teammate Parsi still managed to get a headshot onto Whisk. I was about to say that was a really unfortunate time with his teammate passing in front, so he couldn't take the shot when he saw the terrorist. But terrorist goes to the repeak. Whisk gets punished for it, so 5 versus 4, and things looking a little bit better for the 3-year side.
Yeah, down into the T-Con area. It's a nice start for Mog to kick things off. And for the most part, the T's just playing a nice standard default around that aggression. Unfortunately, the aggression did get taken back, so only Capes is out here towards T-Con, and he's just going to be focusing on catching off any CTs that want to get aggressive as the bomb makes its way around on Dansky's part alongside C3 Star and his teammate. So just very, very slow coming off of that early frag. And actually, they're going to be able to take down Capes as well towards that T-Con aggression. So 5v3 already. The 3-era side taking early control, and they've got 2 players on the B bomb site. When this hit comes through, they're going up towards upper, going to start peeking forward. Mr. Hui's got a hell of a task ahead of him, as does Mog, and they'll be able to combine and do some serious damage. C3 Star damaged up by Mr. Hui. He's not credited with the kill, he's credited with the assisted suicide. Down off of upper and down and out of the round. It's a first on the board for the CTs.
First on the board for the CTs. Mog putting that scout to work, managed to find that early frag, opening up the round. Also, Capes got picked off as well, trying to put a bit of pressure towards A main. I think the T's, if they pulled the trigger earlier, they could have executed straight onto 2 CTs rather than having to get hit by the rotation coming through. But there's a bit of a delay in that and allowed for the rotation from the CTs. Now we see what the T side adaptation is. C3 Star with the Desert Eagle, everyone else with standard buys. The AWP though for Capes. See if that comes out. Danny holding this angle towards Ivy. Spraying through, but seeing the standard setup, this time they're holding more CTs aggressive towards A rather than having 2 around the Ivy area. But Capes finds Mog. Not sure what angle he got from that, but that will open things up definitely for the 10 plus Elo. Plus 10 Elo.
Plus 10 Elo.
Plus 10 Elo.
I mean, 10 plus Elo sounds like it rolls off the tongue a bit more easily.
Yeah.
So, depending on how you want to say things. But either way, they've got the opening frag. Nice start once again from Capes to try and get the early aggression to work for the T side favor. Are spread pretty thin across their line. They've actually got a boost going over to the B-bomb site, and meanwhile, 2 kills come through for the CTs down at Pop Dog. Traded back by C3 Star to the 3 versus 3, but not for long, because Danny's still kicking and screaming back towards A alongside Crit, who takes another man back. It's all on to Capes. 2 kills for his favor, and a lot of work to be done. He's got the bomb on his back, he's got an open bomb site, so should be able to get this plant down. But 30 seconds, and he's still putting utility to try and draw a rotation out. What is the plan here for him? Back over to the stairs.
He's going towards A. Is he actually going towards A? That's genius with the smoke.
He's got to be quiet. He's got to be quick about it, though, and those 2 things don't mix in Counter-Strike. 20 seconds left. AWP out, starting a face. Desperately shoulder peeking for a good shot, but now he's got to run to the site. No choice on that one. Smoke picked up to go towards Connector, and this will be a bomb plant, a retake, 1v2.
That's so smart by him with those smokes. Really clever play by Capes, already picking up 2 rounds, but he's facing the wrong way. He's got to predict that they'll come from behind. I don't think he's going to be there. He's going to get caught out. He does manage to get on top of the connector position. Mr. Hoy takes him down, and that'll be the round for 3-era. That was unfortunate for Capes. I think he was just trying to predict where the CTs were. Got it wrong. He didn't expect him to push so aggressively round with effectively not much information. So unfortunate, but AWP gets carried over and swapped hands to 3-era, and it will be Mog who takes up the scoped weaponry.
And nice second round on the board for the CT side here. 2 for 2, so 2 rounds of loss bonus, and of course the loss bonus doesn't carry on into the rounds after the pistol. So right now they're going to be basic Deagles back out once again for this eco, looking for the 3rd round loss bonus buy, which should be relatively confident in their own right. Right now it's just standard peaks and positions being held by the CT side. Actually, Mr. Hui is going to lose first face out towards the B bomb site against KP. So those Deagles can still do some serious damage. They're known as the hand cannons for a reason. One-shot headshot against the armored players, and still with head armor at a good enough range, is still going to be good enough for the kills. So keep your eyes on how the kill feed plays out. For now, it's just standard positions being held by the T side. Boosts coming in towards Ivy. As you can see, Danny's got 2 players stacked on top of each other to be dealing with. And Whisk here, the Deagle trying to get that first shot, desperately looking for the one. Indeed, he's not going to find it. It's Danny with the opener. Trade back coming in from Whisk. Raised to a 4 versus 4 scenario. But no major advantage. Again, no Kevlar for the T side either. So they really have not got much of a silver lining in this round.
And T's with 55 seconds left, still really spread out in their positioning. It looks like they're going to try and pull it towards a B site, execute. They still got 1 player in Ivy. Maybe trying to flank and Whisk, causing some issues for the CT side. Things are slowing down right now. Mog misses the first shot. Back up from that position, playing it smart. Not trying to risk giving that AWP over. Like just to try and get a play with Desert Eagle. It's really not an economic, worthwhile trade, but there's 1 CT left on his own. Mr. Hoy picks up 2. He picks up the 3rd, completely denies any opportunity for a plant. And despite Whisk trying to pick up Emmy on the back line, faced with Mog takes him down, and that'll be the round for CT. Fairly expensive round, seeming what it was, but seeming Mr. Hoy got a 3K solo holding the B site. I think they'll be pretty happy with that.
They are anti-eco frags, though, so you can only take so much away from it. If they were like a full-blown rifle, then I was like, okay, right, credit to Mr. Hoy. But as it stands, yeah, okay, 3 kills, fair enough. Again,
I think it's more the 3 kills, just holding it solo, denied that bomb plant, and then it's like losing two players plus the bomb plant, and then, you know, things full utility on our side. But Whisk this time doing a reverse, getting that opening kill onto crit, making it 5 versus 4 for the +10 Elo.
Yeah, opening frag towards T-Con. +10 Elo want to try and find a round right back. They are the favorites in this matchup, in my opinion. So let's be on the back foot here for the first map. Not an expected scenario. Still going to hold down Pop Dog control. 2 players boosting up around it, trying to get themselves a bit of control. Trying to see if they can see on top of the trains themselves, but no headshots will come through. All the CTs are held back by smokes and a little bit of wall control. Emmy in particular going out into the connector area, and he takes down C3 Star. Nice spray through. Damage done to KPs as well. Does get traded back eventually down to a 4 versus 3. The T side holding their face as they continue to push onto the A bomb site. They've got plenty of time to make this hell hit work, but the trades may come in thick and fast from the CTs. As they're up on top of Red Train. 1 frag found for the man. 1 more back behind the bomb site as Danny will go fall into the hands of Whisk, and KP's here to support from Pop Dog. They've got the 2 CTs completely surrounded as Whisk gets 1 more frag. It's on to Mr. Hui, facing around. Headshots found, and there it is. A 3rd round for the T's.
Yeah, equalizing it up to 3 versus 3. It is a best of 3. This was 3 Era's map pick. We'll follow it into Cash, which will be +10 Elo's pick, and then Overpass will be the decider. But that all depends who wins this round, of course. We said that +10 Elo is probably the favourites going into this game. That's Dansky's side. If they manage to upset 3 on this map, they could just walk them over on Cash.
A Force Spire coming through as well for the CT squad. This is certainly an interesting turn of events in the way that they want to try and play this whole thing out. Of course, it does mean that they'll have no economy to buy in the next round. So there's a little bit that needs to be done, needless to say. And against the AKs, it's less than likely that that will end up happening. And the 10 Elo side could gather quite the amount of rounds for this as well. You know, take them down, no economy to reinvest in the next round. Looking at 5 to 3 potentially for this squad. So decent defense needs to be put up at the very least on the CT half of things. They've got another connector control style default. Mr. Hui down solo on the B bomb site, ready for Mog to push forward if the AWP needs to support it. And meanwhile on A, we've got Danny, Emmy, and Crit with their standard positions. Crit in particular down towards Hell. Bit of a redundant position actually with Emmy's hold onto the A bomb site. So it's better for him maybe to aggress or take Pop Dog control or try and play one of those positions off the back of this. And especially with Mog also rotating in to support the A bomb site, it just makes his position more redundant. It's way too passive to get a decent defensive.
Yeah, and it's also this kind of round relies on +10 Elo playing super smart, and it's whether they predict that they'll hold 4 sport or not. If they just expect pistols, go for a full-on execute, and then walk into a couple of rifles, it could cause absolute horror for them. Mog picks up the first, Crit picks up the second, but immediately replied. Emmy and Mog go straight down. Crit does manage to trade one before he dies. Danny picks up the last with a CZ. And as we said, not expecting the force buy, walking straight into those rifles, and it's a 2 versus 1. Capiz is on his own for the T side.
Well, Crit getting 2 kills, trying to prove me wrong in my particular analysis, but there you go, credit to him. 10 seconds left for Capiz to try and turn it around. He's got 2 players to find a very open bomb plant as well. This is not going to end up well for him. Unless they don't face it, they're going to let him get that bomb plant. Passive play, scared play coming in for the 3-era side. Mr. Hui spot sprays and Capiz takes him down. He's on for the 1 versus 2 clutch. Here in the footsteps of Danny, he's picked up the AWP, and now the CZ being spotted out. Headshots kind of landed from the AK. Close think coming in from Danny, but in the end, the rifle wins out against the pistol, and it will be Elo taking the lead.
Yeah, should have contested that bomb plant.
Definitely.
I mean, you've got 2 people. The planter's got 5 seconds. Capiz has got like 5 seconds left. Like when he goes for that plant, even if one of you dies and you lose that AWP or something, as long as you both peek at the same time, he can't take both of you. You're on opposite ends. Like unless he like 360s and gets the most insane like lucky shot, there is no way that he should win that. Not the case. They don't go for it. Play scared and get punished for it. Dansky picking up Emmy with a valiant is not the right word. I'm trying to be nice. Incorrect push-up pop dog. Let's put it like that. That's the best way to do it. I get what he's trying to do, trying to surprise the player, but it's kind of expected that if you're force buying that you're going to try and do something a bit crazy with the pistols.
I mean,
and like.
To be fair, right, that in all fairness, they were completely naded out. The stat towards Pop Dog just took out 4 players for like 200 points of health plus. So, you know, not great. You know, not a fantastic position. Obviously, the Molotov coming through.
It's burning and was like,
he was the low HP
I'll just
player.
go for it.
He was the low HP player. He was burning alive. He was going to die anyway. So if you could take a player out with him, then, you know, credit to him. You know, it's a ballsy attempt, but, you know, what other choice do you have? In the end, it is an eco at the end of the day from the CT side. They only want the rifles out in this next round. So the 5 M4s will come to fruition. They've got the standard setup, the same setup again. I want to see them change things up here, because if the T side have found the formula to break it, then from here, it's just going to be all 3 eras demise, basically. They won't have a single chance on this map.
And Mr. Munro, I think, is going to be
Neff.
like
Neff, yeah.
No, okay. Most devastating player because that MAC-10. There's no head armor on any of the CTs, but it's not going to make a difference at the moment because trades are going back and forth, but it actually means 3-era come out in front. That MAC-10 is still alive. No headshot, but he still somehow managed to kill Emmy. Mr. Hoy takes down Munro, and then Capiz, unfortunately, after trading back, gets taken out by Crit. So incredibly close gun round. We're seeing all these fights are going so low either side, which is why, although T-side economy is built up, especially with that eco round, like CT, even though they won that round, look at that economy. That is, for lack of a better word, trashed.
I mean, he pretty much is right, you know. I also want to give a little bit of a criticism to Crit once again. Like, way too dangerous peeking out in the middle of the spray from the last player that was towards Ivy. He got that kill, but that certainly could have swung the other way. And look at the utility damage coming in against the T side as well. First player will be falling, but Crit's going to get traded right back to the 4 versus 4. A very fast play coming in from 10Elo, and they're going to be able to gain that man advantage eventually, but the push still continuing so close on Danny's part of things. He gets traded back by the AWP as Mog holds face back in the smoke. 3 players to potentially find as it starts to clear. Mr. Hui Molotoving off Old Hell, trying to keep Whisk back at bay. As Mog will go falling, it's all going to rest on him. 1 headshot to take down the bomb partner. Second face as well. He's on for the 3K. He does not know where Whisk is, though. The Molotov was only a guesstimation to try and suppress any players that might be out there. He doesn't have any info. He thinks that he's rotated back to the B bomb, so did he not see the bomb?
I don't think he did. It was on the other side of the train, so he wouldn't have seen it gone down. But it's whether Whisk knows that he's waiting and decides to go for the rotation. I think he is going for the rotation. I don't know if he'll see that grenade. He's quite far away, so I don't think Mr. Hoy will hear it. And okay, I think they've just debated each other. Like, Mr. Hoy was like, oh yeah, didn't see bomb, is definitely going towards B. Goes towards B, doesn't see anyone, starts rotating around. And Whisk is like, he's close. If I try and plant, he's going to get me. So rotates around to B site. It's interesting. 30 seconds left, though. But Mr. Hoy is in a position where he should be able to hit a bomb plant from that. He's getting wise now. He's thinking, haven't heard anything yet. It's probably some kind of rotation coming through. But this is where things get interesting because neither player knows where each other is at this point.
A bomb plant out to the safe side. Mr. Hui can't deny it. Facing against the spray, can't win it out. Whisk just about holds on to the round there, but a serious clutch coming in for Mr. Hui, who was able to get that spray together. It's 6-4 to the favor of 10Elo. But again, very, very dangerous stuff coming in. They do lose 4 players. They have a lot of damage being done to their own economy. As you said, it was trash on the CT side in the last round. It's trash on the T side for this one. And yeah, the CTs aren't going for an investment. I say that though, there's a couple of players down below the 1,000 mark, so they have invested into like a quasi half buy almost. It's still going to be pretty dangerous, however. They have to get at least something out of this round to keep that damage going, if not the round victory. So another quick play will come in from the T side. We're going to go right out to connect to try and tap his way on through. It's Mr. Hui taking down C3 star to kick things off. Traded back 2 for 2 overall. The CT try and wrap their way on through as Crit goes falling. Emery still on the bomb site, trying to get down towards connector as Mog, trying to catch up someone else on the backstab position, but nothing else will come to fruition. And indeed, Emery will be the last man left alive, 1 versus 3. If he can take a second frag, or a third frag, I should say, for the CT side, then that'll be round success, I think, overall. Again, not perfect, because some players weren't quite on the same page when it comes to the buy strategy. This will still be a 7th round as well for the Ts. So, on train, not amazing, but still looking like they might hold a bit of a decent fight as the next rifle is ready to come to fruition.
Yeah, if Emi, as you said, if Emi can find just 1 more frag, then it causes enough damage to the economy to not be too bad. Dansky jumps up, but Capers managed to find him before he can do any permanent damage. 7-4 though, for +10Elo. And as he said, economy, not the CTs weren't all on the same page in the buy, went for sort of mixed buys, different varieties, different levels. So it means they won't be able to do some kind of a semblance of a force buy, instead buying some pistols, trying to equalize the economy so they can do a full buy next round.
USP out on Emmy, first man down on KP's part, and Net gets a second frag on Crit. Obviously, it is an eco round for the CT side. No choice but to invest into only a few CZs at this point. So 3 kills untraded. Maybe a 4th can come through in a moment's time. Indeed, it will be able to do so. Barely any damage done, just 66 points on Net, and that is about it. Danny left alone. Out to the Ivy position. 1 versus 5 scenario. Might get this exit frag. Tapping and bursting, and does get it together eventually. But still 4 more players to find. They know exactly where he is. They'll just continue to suppress him down with nades. Sprays on through. Nothing going to come through. 5 HP. All next to 1 face, and he will be a dead man.
Yeah, he's trying to find that AK. You can see he's trying to look for it, but sadly it was across the side of the corridor. So, unfortunate, but nice for him to get a kill. But it's not a lot, to be honest, in that situation. They still have plenty of money to be able to buy an AKA up. But Mac 10's going to come out instead, predicting again, no head armor on the side because they're going to try and get as much utility as possible for the CTs, which means get into that position, play a fast play into one of the sites. You can completely catch a player off guard with that one-shot potential, the jumping Mac 10, the Vegas Squadron special. Mr. Hui might be about to be greeted for it. Can't get the shot. First player jumping just to sort of like bait him into try and whiff the spray. And that's what happens. Dansky pushing up very aggressive, finds his opposite number of Danny. Molotov's off to stop the rotation from the CT player. And T's have completely got B site. And at this point, Moggs just needs to run and save that AWP.
Yeah, such a frustrating turn of events, especially for Mr. Hui, because obviously he was looking on to potentially spray down the entire T-side force, essentially. They were all bunched up. He had the M4, but the jump play from the first player out pretty much baited in that spray, so it took it away from the main force, and even then he didn't even take that much damage. So Mr. Hui, a couple of tragic moments for him when he was on for one of the big plays in the matchup to potentially turn this whole half back to the favor of the CT side. Just not to be in this case. They will get shut down back on just 4 rounds of loss bonus as well. AWP saved. They might try and justify a force buy, but more than likely they'll just half buy around this AWP. As the T side continue on almost at double digits here for the first half. It's not been the most graceful of CT halves. And again, Train is a bit of a CT map, so you expect the CT half to be generally a bit better than the T side. But that comes to credence of what I was saying earlier. If you've got a team with a lot of firepower, then the T side is going to work up much better overall for them. And that's exactly what's happening for the 10Elo squad. 3-error. Having some serious problems, and again, they will half buy around it. Get the first AWP shot on Mog down to KPs, and Danny gets 1 more, also close range. They've aggressed this whole thing together out towards the Brown Hall. C3 Star will be able to get 1 trade back as a 4 versus 2 scenario. But look, 3 rifles now for the CTs. 3-error have now have a decent chance in this round.
Yeah, 3-error, not only that, but if they manage to carry these weapons through, they don't lose any more players. That sets their economy up perfectly going to the next round. It looks like it's going to go that way, and this is kind of disastrous. But Whisk is on the flank, finds Mog out in the open, sitting on the train. his eyes buried in that scope of the AWP. Danny's trying to spray him. We'll find him. So that's not. If they can pick up that AWP as well, the Crit can pick up a rifle. Just wasn't in time. Didn't manage to pick up the AWP. That is a real shame. But they do have enough money to buy, which sets them up perfectly for this round. So we could get CN 9-6. Not great for a CT, but seeming the way it was going, a lot better than what could have happened. That was a sort of a life-saving play in that round.
Yeah, we could have been seeing 11-4 at best right there. So things certainly looking much better for 3Elo as they continue with the opening frags. Mog, that's the second time he's picked up that AWP and shut down the opening face towards T-Con with it. So once again, an opening frag right there for the 3Elo side. The T's marking back around Pop Dog and Brown Halls. Sprays in from Emmy, going to try to see if they can take down another player, but just very passive positions being taken. Finally, the face will come through from West, taking out Emmy, looking back in for the second on top of the blue train. Sprays back out towards T-Con, going to keep them suppressed with extra smokes coming in from the T side. Back up, Mog still has the angle, and he takes down Whisk, boosted back on top of the ticket booth. Next tap in against the man will not be able to land. Dansky, meanwhile, will go falling as they face back from Mr. Hui's part. He gets taken back by C3 Star. 2 quick flicks, but only one ends up landing. And now 2 players to find here. The bomber is back, 60 seconds remaining. Keeping around the A bomb site and around the red train. Time is of the essence, and Danny and Mog just going to wait and play the trade game more than anything else. It does mean that the B bomb site is entirely open, and C3 Star reads this. This is his veteran experience right here. Just going to go wrapping on through, getting this bomb plant, and try to see if he can set up a much better position for him. He realizes he probably will have a bit of a harder time defending the bomb site. With the AWP out, 2 bullets is all he theoretically needs. Can he get the 3K?
Can he get the 3K things? I don't know if he just saw the CT player, if he just peeked over. Might have just been the X-ray. Gets the information, backs off from the corner. But they know exactly where he is. At this point, he's got to land that flake. No, he doesn't. He's reduced down to 50% health. Danny takes him down and now bring it to 9-6 half. Seeming how that looked like the entire half was just running away for Plus10Elo. They were just grabbing it by the horns and just running with it. 3Elo have sort of clawed their way back into this. We've got to, as you can see the scoreboard, Danny and Mr. Hoy definitely leading the way for the 3Elo side, definitely being the clutch players. But we've got to highlight Whisk on 17 kills for that half.
Yeah, very, very nice performance from him in only just about beating the average scoreline, or the average sort of like a stat line for a CT player. Whisk doing extremely, a T-side player I should say. Whisk doing extremely good work. And again, he was one of the firepower elements that I was talking about. He's been part of some of the best rosters in the UK in the past. So jumping into this, I'm expecting a good performance out of him as C3 Star will be the first man down. It's all up to the trades. The T side coming up huge as simultaneous frags coming through, especially from Crit. 3 kills out towards the Ivy position. It's going to leave it all on Whisk as the last man left. A 1 versus 4 for him. And just like that, the round has been completely dismantled by 3Elo.
And Whisk has beyond a difficult job at this point. Like almost impossible for him to do anything at this point, especially with the bomb down. I don't think there was a kit bot either. I could be wrong, but it's whether we can get to it as well. T's going very aggressive with these post-plant positions, just trying to hunt the CT player, not even giving the opportunity to try and get some map control and maybe find a few angles. They're hunting for this player. Emmy's going to be the first one out in the open, but Whisk struggling to find the frags. He does get 2, but bomb's about to go off as well. So this is just to pad the stats at this point.
Well, 17 frags is not enough. About 19, my friend. Still leading that scoreboard, by the way. The 7th pistol round on the board for 3Elo. Again, much needed pistol round for them. It's not quite as effective as it used to be, obviously, with the economy changes. So looking at probably about like it used to be, at this point you'd be saying, right, they're probably looking about 9-9. With the force spike coming through, unless the force spike can shut them down to the T side, then there'll be probably a very even scoreline coming into the rest of this half. But probably 1 round differential will be all the T side can handle right here. As the first round comes, the first eco comes into fruition, and it should be, again, shut down relatively easy. The peaks coming through, the firepower is just way too high on the T side. KPs will get 1 for his trouble, but again, Danny there for the double kill. It's an 8-9 scoreline. Standardized round, and they look towards the rifles.
I'm pretty sure, I could be wrong. Someone can correct me if they want, but I'm pretty sure in almost all of these eco rounds that at least 1 player has gone down for the round for the team who has weapons. Like, there's been no clean round where they've managed to ace the other team, which kind of shows the potential of some of these players. In fact, even with a USP or a Glock in their hand, they can still cause serious damage. Like, especially you take a CT player out with like or a T-side player, say armor, AK, and full utility early on the round with USP. That's like 4,000-5,000 5k worth of damage you're doing to that economy that they have to rebuy next round. So, I mean, it is a consolation prize at best, just killing one player for an eco round, but it's better than nothing. But it's just kind of interesting to see there's been no clean rounds, but very aggressive play by Whiskers. Pop flash straight in, decimates Emmy and Mog. 5-3. That is the worst case scenario for the T sides at this point. Mr. Hoy trying to recover though.
Does get one train. And a second one as well towards Ivy. Hold the phone. So the worst possible scenario for the T side, but suddenly they turn it back to a 3 versus 3. So Whisk over towards Old Hell will try and cut off Mr. Hoy. He knows that he's alone. And taking a look at the bomb position as well with the CT players, they haven't actually picked it up. They haven't committed it to a bomb site. So if they take down one of the main key forces, or one of the main key forces enter onto the A bomb site, now they've got to go, they've lost Mr. Hui, they've got to rotate one of the main side players back into T-Con, pick up the bomb and go towards the A bomb site. And you saw they were trying to converge on. They quickly realized that wasn't the case. And they had to rotate back over to the electric box, back over to T-Con. So a bit of a wasted aggression, I guess you could say, for the T side. As they wrap back over to Brown Hall's going to go to the B bomb site. 30 seconds left on the clock. Back through Pop Dog one more time. Whisk this time has counteracted for it. He's going to line up both of them. Spray on Danny, take him down. Crit left alive. The one versus 3. Ooh, 2 headshots come through. A smoke down towards Connected. 15 seconds left to face against Dansky. Bomb tap on the bomb site. He's not ready for the aggression. And you can face through that smoke. Dansky just shuts down the clutch. Just puts double digits on the board.
Crit was predicting that with that smoke that Dansky would sit behind it, wait for it to fade after the bomb goes down. Didn't expect him to yeet his way through and try and aggress towards him. Like jumped on top of the bomb, like yeah, it's fine. He's behind the smoke. I love
that saying, by the way. Like, it's like literally the most appropriate thing. He's yeeting.
He just ran. He just legged his way through the smoke and was like, "No, I don't care about this," and then just domed the guy. Like is huge aggression, and we're seeing even more aggression, but this time for 3-era, Mr. Hoy doesn't see the player on green train, gets taken out for his troubles. Whisk being this phenomenal source of firepower for this side, causing absolute havoc. Mog does manage to get one for his troubles with a CZ. He tried to 3v3. 2 versus 3 now. Crit, the hero from last game, didn't manage to execute it this time, but Whisk with that angle from the heaven position goes for the repeat. Mog takes him down. 2 versus 1. I feel like we've seen this before.
Look at Dansky's position. Over on Ivy, has position on both the players. He'll line up the spray, gets the first man down, and now looking for Mog as the next phase. Flashbang in, not going to go so far. Both players on around the same amount of HP. They have their crosshairs over each other. They have no idea. The bomb's been picked up. It's going to wrap all the way towards the B bomb site. Dansky should have heard these footsteps. Slowly creeping around the A bomb site just in case. Bomb will go down, however, planted for oil train. And now 40 seconds on the clock for the retake. Dansky hasn't got a defuse kit either. So he's got to take this phase relatively quickly. He's got to take this frag. And Mog is on for the 3K. And Dansky's going to rotate back towards Pop Dog now. Slowly creep up. A very, very important round for both of these squads. And interesting that Mog's going all the way around towards CT spawn. He's got a decent position, but if Dansky hit up the bomb site at that point, that would have gotten very, very awkward for the defensive. Dansky slowly creeping in. He's got to find the kill relatively quickly. I think he realizes he's out of time. Spent way, way, way too long creeping up Pop Dog. And that's going to be a 9th on the board for the T's.
I'm getting deja vu at this point because the amount of times that 3-era has had a player in a 1v1 situation with 2 kills and just needs to find that third one. I think this is the 3rd time we've seen this match, and every single time the 3rd kill doesn't come through. Although they did win the round, still doesn't give that 3K. They're just denying. They don't want him to get that kills, but nice to see finally those 1v1 situations that 3-era does manage to actually win. But Galil coming out for Danny, not the greatest. See, that's the problem with those aggressive plays where you're just running straight in and getting those fast contact plays is you can often lose players fast. Mog, again, getting those early picks. Whisk going down, but Crit gets traded back immediately. Danny picking up on the flank, putting that Galil to work, managed to find 2 kills. Monroe, though, and Dansky trading back. This is a costly round for the T-sides. And again, we're left into a 1v1. Dansky again for the 3rd round in a row. This time a different player is against Emmy. See if Emmy will be able to clutch out, but this is a bit of a different situation. Lots of utility on both sides, but Emmy wins out again in 3-era, getting more comfortable in these clutch situations, looking a bit more confident and starting to find those shots.
They lost a lot of her weapons. There were a lot of players falling to the hands of the CT side. And Plus10Elo not getting away scot-free either, or not letting them get away scot-free on the other side, I should really say. 24 kills for Whisk, meanwhile. Absolute monster in this server right here. The CTs will have to face up against them in another eco round. P250s and Deagles plus a couple of USPs, and that is about it Nothing should come through for them. This should be another round for the terrorists taking a lead away. Mr. Hui, crit. Just everyone cleaning up frags, leaving it all on Whisk as the main man at the moment. Might be able to get another frag out here towards connector, but no, not to be. There it is. T-side lead back away for them here. Now a rifle round will come into fruition for the Plus10Elo side. They have had their struggles in the past. They still got mostly SMGs to be dealing with on this T-side, however. So this should, in theory, be around for them. The problem is, obviously, is the head Kevlar is not in existence for these guys. I guess they don't expect this to be an AK upgrade. The MAC-10s and UMPs are going to be just as powerful on the headshots as those AKs.
Yeah, it's one of those decisions you've got to make is whether upgrade the SMGs, have the low firepower, but if you can get that headshot, you're in, especially with the fast rate of fire. But Dansky switching things up. He's like, I'm not going to be left last alive again. Goes aggressive this time, and it'll be Plus10Elo this time, picking up the early frags into the round. 3 versus 5. Wiz going so aggressive, finds Danny out in the opening, completely reversed what we've seen in the last couple of rounds. Emmy and Mog left in a 2 versus 5, and the only damage going on to any of the players is just 19 damage onto Whisk, almost a perfect round back-to-back we've seen from both sides.
Easy as that, 11 to 11 here. Not going to be the most far gone conclusion. I'm expecting this one to be a close match anyway. We just barely pinned out the likes of Plus10Elo on the basis of just their general history and players who are known on that roster. Of course, this is 3Era's pick, so they are having struggles of their own right. This is going to start getting a bit difficult for them if they can't close out this map. Of course, this series is still best of 3 rules, so plenty of work to be done even after the fact. But this round, this map, needs to be one of theirs. They have to got the AWP out on Mog, 4 AK-47s out for the T side, and the M4s will be back in for the CT side. The defuse kits on 4s, head Kevlar for everybody here. Standard default out towards Ivy and T-Con. This looks like it's going to be an A-split. Yeah,
despite getting ace, they've managed to actually get a better buy into this round. That's one of the things about having the SMGs and carrying those over instead of upgrading. You get to save that money. And it's proving to work out. They found the opening frag, but C3 Star is going to get absolutely domed by Cret, taken down. And this is opening a complete revert, just seeing the reflection of what we saw last round, and then Whisk comes in clutch, trying to save the round from getting completely out of control, but I don't think it's going to be enough. T-sides are just pushing in, flanking on every single angle, and Dansky, I think this is asking a bit too much. He's been left in so many clutch situations, 1vx situations, and he's come out in quite a few of them in front, but 1v4, 2 Molotovs barrel their way through the smokes, attacking him. He's flamed. They've got to hit out. He does manage to get 1. He gets 2. This is looking a little more possible. Dansky, the man who just runs through the smokes, he's doing it again, and this time it is really working for him. 1 versus 2. He's got to get that 4K if he wants to pull this into fruition. Things are quieting down, but Bomb has gone down. Does have a diffuse kit, has a little bit of utility to play with, but the situation's going to be hard. Emmy shuts down at Dream, 12-11 3-era.
So close, yet so far somehow. 12 to 11 for the T side. Wow. I mean, it was almost a clutch, you know. You were talking about Dansky and you were saying you don't expect him to be able to do too much. You should be able to see a very, you know, how do I describe it? You were saying basically he shouldn't be able to do much from this clutch situation, but lo and behold, that's exactly what he did. Went straight in, got those 2 frags, almost got the other 2 as well. But not to be in this case, shut down by just not checking the one angle that the T-side player was holding in from 13 to 11 as they get mopped up here on the eco round. It's easy stuff for 3Era as they take back the lead, take back 2 rounds to their favor. This is looking extremely good right now for the T's as they look to try and lock out their map pick. Only 3 rounds away from doing so, but 2 rounds behind them. The CT squad of Plus10Elo have 2 rounds of loss bonus and an AWP M4 buy.
Yeah, even with the full buy coming out for the CTs, even if they win this round, the cash in the bank for the T side, they've got to break them twice in a row. And if they take heavy casualties, even if they win this round and win the following one, if they lose 3 or 4 players in that round just to make that happen, they're going to suffer a lot worse compared to the T side going into these later rounds. And that is, as we've seen, depending on most of these rounds, who gets the opening frag. Mog not quite getting C3 start, sort of eyeing up that there might be a player trying to peek that angle, and sort of baits out the shot. So they know where the AWP is being held. CT's showing a little less aggression than they've shown in other rounds, which is what has worked out for them. Molotov goes out. Monroe, tries to flash deny Mr. Hoy that peek, but they've got Ivy control, and Spray is going down, utility fading as well, and 50 seconds left on the clock, and the execute's coming out, aggressing towards the CT player. He will find one. I don't know if he's going to try and repeat, but Danny and Mog is trying to clean up the other side. Crit actually takes him down in the end and is going away a 3-era. Dansky left again in a 1vx situation.
I wonder if he'll be able to pull the same thing off. He's back over towards Connector this time around with the AWP rather than the M4. Back on the bomb site, ready and raring for anyone to come his way. But the bomb's actually going to get picked up. He's got 25 seconds, actually. If he pushes forward and denies the bomb planter of Mog, there's a chance, actually, he might be able to stall this round for long enough. There's 15 seconds left on the clock. The bomb making its way inside there. I've got the crossfire locked. Dansky can't go very far without getting picked apart. But what can you do from this Connector position? He's going to decide to fall back and just save at this point. So there you go. 14-11. This is starting to look like a 3-era map. They were on the back foot for most of it. But now things are looking... They're coming up Millhouse right now for them.
Yeah, they're looking a lot better, a lot more comfortable, have warmed up a lot, and across the board, all players are starting to frag and get the kills that they actually need. As you said, 14-11. Dansky definitely making correct decision to save. We said how damaged their economy would be. Like, if they won worst-case scenarios, they lose 4 players, but if they lose and lose all their players as well, that's going to be awful. Look at that economic situation. Like, what do they do in this situation? Do they force buy, try and play it out, or do they take the eco and play for overtime? That's the question they've got to decide on here. Looks like they're going to try and play for overtime, just buying down to about 2k. They'll go into this round, make some kind of contact play, try and get a rifle, just try and do something. Because at this point, it's too late to try and damage the T-side economy.
CZs and Tech9, sorry, the PT-50 is coming in for the CT side. It's Emmy straight in, trying to get a spray, trying to get the tap onto the man on the bomb site area. Easy picks coming through. Again, the anti-eco round should go to map point for 3-era. As a +10Elo look towards their rifle round to go to overtime at best here, Nova. There should be no way in for this one, but no way out either. No chance that they'll give up this one to the T side. No chance that they'll give this one up to 3-era because they were in the lead for so long. On their T side, it's 9-6 to the favour of them. And then, of course, getting those 2 rounds kept the whole thing rolling up until this point where 3-era suddenly started to take control. KP is the only man that remains back here over in the pop dog or top pop dog area with a USP. 1v5. And yeah, this will be 15. There's no way that, I mean, you know, we said that about Dansky back in these, like, you know, clutch situations, but this is a USP. There's no kill.
Oh yeah.
No way.
There's no way. It's not going to happen. Interesting thing about the T side, I don't know if they're doing it intentionally or it's just the style they play, but when they're running out, you've got some, even with the USPs, you've got some very, very strong aimers like Whisk on the side of 10+Elo. But the thing is these Ts is when they're entering, they're always entering in pairs or threes. So even if one of them gets taken down, they can immediately trade the frag, and especially against those USPs, if one player gets taken down and that rifle goes over, suddenly the chance of some kind of upset happening goes up like exponentially at that point if they can get that first rifle. But always sticking together, making sure if they do go down, they can take that rifle, they can remove it from the situation and don't hand it over to the CTs.
Rifles out for the CT side this time around. We've got AWPs and M4s up against single AWPs and AKs for the T side. It's a 1-for-1 trade as Crit and Whisk get the opening frags. Whisk doubles down, however, taking Crit and Danny right back out. Back towards Connector he will be, and the CTs will be cleared off of the bomb site. But a 4 versus 3 retake. Got 2 defuse kits in play, so they can afford to lose one of them. They make their way up and over to the B site. All 4 players stacking in from the Connector area. One man towards Oil will try and face down against Dansky. He actually gets second as well as they face forward. Netf and KP is the last 2. Now just KP is the AWP. 1v3 scenario. The AK faces, gets the kill. It's 16-11 to the favour of 3-era. A map that almost ended up falling apart for them there, Novi. But in the end, it ended up sort of like coming back in the second half. Still started looking good right there. And it was a relatively close scoreline as well. 16-11 at the end of that one. And there you go. They're going to win out their map pick, Novi.
Yeah, and so that'll be their map pick. Next map will be Cash.
Cash as